Hello everyone, I'm back. This time I decided to not let any more time pass. I'm a little bit late again. I was actually going to do this video and another one because I will be reviewing this book in another video yesterday, but time was not on my side, so I decided to finally do it today. New comic book day for a lot of you. I'm not even sure if the books will be on time. Last week they weren't on time, so I actually went to shop on Friday, um, and on Monday as well. On Friday I went to the big shop, uh, be, and only to the big shop because my dog got sick. She just turned 16 years old as well. But my dog got sick, so I just went to this shop to sort of the vet comes in, gets in at 11:30, so just to get some time, take her early in the afternoon. So nothing serious, a bit of a, I guess you could say a sort of cold, a little bit of a, um, you know, pulmonary problem, respiratory problem, because of the weird weather changes we've been having in Mexico. So it's sort of semi-cloudy right now. Um, it gets cloudy. We're getting a lot of rain. We're not getting any rain, and just gets you know really cloudy and cold. So we ended up taking the dog to the vet throughout the weekend to give so she could get her shots. He's doing fine. Uh, so I was actually going to go to the small shop either on Saturday. Said probably try Saturday. I just ended up going on Monday, and just to get one book. But I wanted to get all the books in before I do the reviews. So I've been talking quite a bit now. So let's get on with it. So to start with, Superman Wonder Woman. This one is the one I went to get on Monday. I don't know. This is sort of like it didn't feel like it added anything to the story, but it did. Half the book is Superman talking with the president. The other half is Wonder Woman rescuing all the missing people, which is like the weirdest thing because Superman doesn't know where the government put the Smallville and all the missing people, but apparently Wonder Woman knew exactly where they were. She goes help them out, but she's also interrogating them as well. So did Wonder Woman know exactly what was going on and she didn't tell Superman? Is this like the breaking point of their relationship if Superman finds out about it? Um, so we do know that it was a government that took everything connected with Superman, which has been this story. Um, and then while Superman is talking with the president, the parasite comes out of nowhere. We learned he was sent by the chief of staff because he's trying to, I don't know, protect the president or something. Uh, but just it felt it felt kind of forced. So like you need the obligatory fight scene in the book. So it sort of served no purpose. I mean, they gave there was some side reasoning behind it, but it really did not serve any purpose except to have the obligatory fight scene, sort of like last issue with the Suicide Squad. It was a really quick fight that went like maybe 1/3 of the issue. Then the rest of the book was just, Superman and Wonder Woman talking while Superman was, recuperating. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's just that I had a feeling that Thomas has no idea what to do with a powerless Superman. That he's sort of trying to bring the obligatory action into the comic, what having where he doesn't want to have a talking head book, so he needs to bring action into it, but it sort of feels forced and without any major purpose. Black Canary number 3, excellent book as always. What can I say about the art that I haven't said before? That just great art. I mean, and it would sort of add like these little panels as well. Each page is packed, and it doesn't feel crowded either. So, and that kind of course, adds a lot to the book as well. Um, in this issue, we sort of get two big things happening. It sort of serves as or three things happening. We sort of learn, we get a bit of the origin of Dido, the girl, the guitarist. We also learn that that the government actually had her, and it turns out that the origin of Black Canary's scream is connected with Dido, as she was the one they used her to experiment on Black Canary and gave her, and thus giving her powers. So there is a connection there between the two of them. It also sort of explains what happened, when these inky creatures were hunting Dido, why Black Canary's scream actually made him visible as well. So there's this connection there. So we kind of get two origins, or an additional take on Black Canary's origin as well, and this mysterious, member of the band, and why the government is after her, and why these creatures are after her as well. And then, the original vocalist returns, showed up the last issue, and she kidnaps the Dido. She kidnaps her, and so there's more to her than meets the eye. I mean, this goes way beyond a disgruntled former member. I mean, she's pretty much, breaking the law. So yeah, very cool, very interesting revelations in this issue. Just enjoying that book. Okay, so now Wonder Woman number 43. This issue focuses mainly on Donna Troy. We do get Wonder Woman when she escapes, as she did last issue. We see that she escaped. So Wonder Woman goes looking for her. At the same time, Donna Troy is trying to find either redemption or a way to end her existence. So she goes to meet the Fates, to see the Fates in London, but she doesn't have a thread to be cut off. So maybe it has to do with her existence, being a magical creation. So she has really no life in the end, and of course, it seems that her fate is actually being controlled by, I believe, by Strife, who sort of manipulated her to escape uh, last issue. So the writing, as I mentioned in last in my last review, is definitely getting better. The pacing is getting better. That was my big problem with the writing, that it sort of felt choppy, that there was no transition between scenes. It got better this last issue. It's much better in this issue. The big letdown of this one though is the art. Um, so this month, David Finch is not doing the art. It's actually Ian Churchill who's doing the art. And Ian Churchill and three inkers, by the way, three inkers. So the art is very inconsistent. Churchill's style was characterized by two things. One, that his female proportions were way off. They were like elongated, and he pretty much drew that same face on female characters. You, you, and there was a very clean art style. So three inkers make it a little bit inconsistent, but at the same time, the penciling itself seems inconsistent. At times, it looks very cartoonish with hints of a Churchill style. At other times, particularly like at the end, it's more of his much more cleaner style than what you see in some of the earlier pages. And he draws the lips uh, on the women really thick, that it looks like they're pouting all the time. I mean, it just looks like, oh God, we'll go through this. So for example, here, you can really see how looks like they're all pouting. And it doesn't look so great here, but yeah, like here, for example, look at her and Zola. I mean, they're like pouting all the time. It's just like very thick. I mean, very thick little small lips, so it looks like they're pouting all the time. So that was the big I mean, at times, and yeah, and like I was saying, no, so here it looks very cartoonish, here, and here as well, very, kind of cartoonish, very inconsistent. You can even look at Wonder Woman here, and then you can go like, somewhat here at the back. I can find a good page here where it looks a lot cleaner here, but it's not really the style and views used from him. It does look clean, but sort of like it's very inconsistent. Like it looks sort of clean at times and sort of cartoonish as well. So that really took me out of the story at times. But the story itself is decent. The writing itself is decent. The art, I do have my issues with it. Justice League number 43, part 3 of the Dark Side War. So 3 things actually happen here in Darkseid finally comes to Earth and faces off against the Anti-Monitor. No action, they're just like looking at each other. Uh, we get more moments with Bat God. Um, you know, I don't know. You know, yeah, but moments with Bat God, and at the very end we get a corrupted Superman. Um, why? Because Luthor throws Superman into one of the fire pits. Because in Apocalypse, Superman has lost his powers because there's no sunlight. But then Luthor says that the fire pits do have solar energy, which makes no sense because there's no sense that Superman would lose his powers if the fire pits of Apocalypse are solar radiation. The Superman should be absorbing it all the time, like he does, here on Earth, absorbing the distant solar energy from the sun, and here he's supposed to be closer to it. Uh, so there's no real logic there as to that. Um, that's pretty much it. There's no real action. Oh yeah, and Mr. Miracle actually finally meets up with the Justice League as well, but there's no real action. Lots of talking. Some little action in Apocalypse between with Superman and Lex Luthor. They're attacked by a mob of slaves. Uh, we get to see a few opening pages with you know an apocalypse. I don't remember what else. Yeah, but no real action. Uh, the focal group here is really Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and a bit of Lex Luthor. The rest of the league is sort of just there, not being very helpful at the most. Not being very helpful. The art by Fabak is great though. Um, really like the art there. But yeah, it wasn't just for like fluff, just like you know, the chapter, like this chapter really felt like it's just there to extend the story. It just feels like just there, you know, filling space. So yeah, I thought Jeff Jones was really, getting his groove back. This one just took it down. So yeah, whatever happened to the Jeff Jones that actually wrote JSA for a number of years? He really knew how to handle, or Teen Titans. He really knew how to handle team books. Finally, Buffy the Vampire Slayer issue number 18. I like the cover. So this is the final issue of the guest appearance by Angel. They're able to temporarily defeat the villain. The box, there's like this box that actually served as a door to a hell dimension that got destroyed but stolen. So now the demon lords that showed up earlier in throughout the series, they made an alliance a few quite a few months ago, a few issues ago. Wow, since that they made an alliance, so they're really starting to gather up their power. So yeah, great, entertaining book. Nice continuation to the series. The art, I never really mentioned much about the art. And what I like about the art, it's pretty much at times it looks like like this. But unlike in the past, especially when Buffy the Vampire Slayer comic tied into the TV show, the artists were sort of supposed to do the likeness of of the actors. With this current artist, actually in seasons past as well, the seasons 8 and 9, you actually didn't have art that try to capture the likeness of the actors, because the actors in as the characters, uh, the artist in this, Rebecca Isaacs, it's weird because she doesn't really mm, have the strictly she doesn't strictly use the likeness of the actors in a very strict sense. Like, let me see here, but sort of like, in the cover, but she doesn't is strictly using the likeness of the actors, and at the same time there are hints of it, yet it's kind of weird. It's like it's not the likeness of the actors, the hints of it, but it's sort of like it makes the characters identifiable. You don't see the actors anymore, you just see the characters. So it's like, one artist drawing Superman and another artist drawing Superman would, draw him, you would know it's Superman. So in the same sense, you see Buffy and Willow, and it's Buffy and Willow, despite the fact that you know originally they were modeled by the actors of the TV show. So the art sort of moved away from that. It's been years since that show ended, and at the same time, they just feel like they are the characters. Um, so I've been rambling on quite a bit now. So I'll call it. So I'll end this here. Um, Hope you enjoyed the reviews. Leave your comments if you're passing by. Subscribe, like, and I'll be seeing you next time with another review video. I'm actually planning to start doing a few videos on Mexican comic books. Well, not exactly Mexican comic books, partially yes, uh, but sort of like Mexican versions of American comic books. Uh, I have quite a bit, and I didn't think I had that much, but I have quite a bit. I actually want to get some older stuff um, that I've seen in the shops. They're really cheap. So some stuff that goes, probably late 80s, mostly early to mid 90s. There's some really interesting stories. Uh, an interesting part of history there in how comics were being published at that time. So I'm just trying to find a good moment to get a couple of those. There are a few Mexican comics I've come across as well. Uh, so I'll try to get a few of those as well. So I'll probably do it in various parts. Hopefully I'll have some time in the weekend to do that. Uh, to do that, uh, give me a sec. Oops. So I'll take some just so to do that and start showing what I've got, and then sort of go and get some of this older stuff and do and talk about those and show those. So I guess that's all for now, and hope you see me next week.